get into the latest rumors now. So rumor number one, no Odell Beckham Jr. trade. Tom, we're giving this 3 Goodell heads here. More probable than not.
Yeah, I think that's actually very likely as well. This is kind of what we said from the beginning, that yes, there were the rumors going on, but the Giants had a very high asking price. And per Adam Schefter, other teams no longer think the Giants are going to do it. And previously, Schefter reported that teams thought there was a real chance, even a good chance, that Odell Beckham would be dealt. That's no longer the case. I'll still give a very slight, like 2% chance at most, that Beckham does get dealt. But this is what we said from day one. We didn't think the Giants would actually trade Odell Beckham because that offense is more or less built around OBJ. When he's not playing, you saw what happened last year. That offense is a disaster. They don't have enough pieces around him.
Let's just speak the facts here. He was never on the trading block.
What do you mean by?
Well, they weren't actively shopping him.
Okay, there you go.
Okay?
So that's why at first I'm like, wait a minute.
A little more.
But yes, no, you're right.
The ears were open,
yes,
but he was never being actively
I think that every NFL team listens to a lot more trade offers than we think, kind of like that one dude in your fantasy league who always wants to make offers, but it's just not always what we see happen there. So I do think that there was definitely offers made. The Rams, we know, were one team that made an offer, but in the end, I just don't think that the Giants had an offer that they really wanted to have in the end there.
All right, so continuing on here with Odell Beckham Jr., a situation that has a lot of layers, folks. So I kind of want to walk through this for all of you. First of all, we start off with the fact that Dave Gettleman had a prepared statement on Odell Beckham Jr. during the owners' meetings and told reporters he wasn't going to answer any questions about him. You go on to the report that Odell was going to sit out the 2018 season if he didn't get his extension, apparently looking for $18 million in terms of a yearly salary. So a whole lot to this situation. You got Ray Lewis chiming in on Colin Cowherd as well. So I think in the end, Odell's going to remain with the New York Giants there.
Agreed.
So that's the latest
I agree.
surrounding him. Let's get to the next rumor on our list here. Eric Reid, is he back with the San Francisco 49ers? One Goodell head here.
Yeah, look, there's a chance the Niners have not shut the door on this one, but Reid was kind of like, hey, I want to come back. I do a one-year deal, like my salary from last year, a little over $5.6 million. There's an extra couple thousand and change involved there. But the Niners made their offer. It wasn't an actual offer. It was like, hey, here's roughly what we'd give you. And it was less than that. So I don't think it'll happen. There is a chance that the Niners don't get a safety early. But they like Tart. They like Ward. They like Colbert, their late-round pick that they had last year. So there is a chance, but it's not exactly a very good one. So we're not going to close the deal on that, but don't expect that one to go down.
All right, so kind of building off of that, Tom, there is this connection between Reid and the Cincinnati Bengals. Is the kneeling an issue here for Cincinnati's leadership?
Well, that's certainly what it sounds like here, and we'll go ahead and move on to this the Eric Reid and the Bengals one as well, and we'll give this one 2 heads because people are mostly talking, namely Pro Football Talk, and Mike Brown reportedly met with Eric Reid and asked him, like, hey, are you going to kneel? And apparently Reid was surprised by that question, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you know
How
why?
are you surprised by that?
He said that he would not kneel anymore.
But then Reid didn't give a firm answer, according to PFT. So my mindset is like, A, how do you not know it's going to be a question? Of course it's going to be a question. And then he didn't really give a firm answer. Maybe he didn't like being questioned about it at all. But the Bengals in general had been kind of like, hey, I don't like this, or we don't like this. You know, we want to keep sports and politics separate. I think from an on-field standpoint, it's an obvious fit. But I think if the Bengals don't sign Eric Reid, even though there's clear interest, and the report made it seem like, or tried to imply that, hey, the kneeling is the reason why the Bengals aren't going to sign Eric Reid.
He's a good player.
If that's the mindset there, I think it's the perfect example of what's wrong with the NFL's mindset about this whole thing. You're willing to keep Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict on your team. You're willing to draft Joe Mixon, but kneeling during the national anthem and protesting police violence is where you draw the line. I don't think that's the right mindset to take. I get that there are consequences for doing protests and whatnot, and the most effective protests aren't comfortable ones. But I just don't think it's the right mindset for an NFL team. Like, I want to get better. I want to win. Yeah, Eric Reid can help me win. And in all reality, at a very cheap price, I would bet as well.
All right, we'll see where he eventually lands. Let's get to the next rumor here. And a lot of people are watching for this one. Dez Bryant, is he getting cut on Friday? 2 Goodell heads firmly in the rumor category. What's the latest?
A lot of the Cowboys reporters and analysts are very much on we think he's going to get cut on Friday. I'm not quite there yet, and there is going to be a meeting with Jerry Jones and Dez Bryant on Friday, and maybe it's just me not wanting to accept the reality that Dez is going to get cut by the Dallas Cowboys, but there's going to be the meeting on Friday, and the expectation is that Dez and Jerry are going to talk about the contract, talk about his role. Maybe the Cowboys ask for a pay cut, but maybe they just say, you know what, we're done with you, Dez. We're going to cut you. And the reality of the situation is, Cam, that there is 100% without a doubt a faction, I think a significant faction within the Cowboys organization that doesn't want to have Dez anymore. And I think it's led, at least in part, by Scott Linehan, which is mind-blowing to me because Linehan was terrible last year as an OC. There's no creativity. The offensive receivers routes will run straight, turn around, and then maybe we'll throw the football. And the big issue for me, and this is why I don't want the Cowboys to cut Dez Bryant, your team gets worse. Yes, you save money. Where are you going to spend that money for this year? The Cowboys are trying to win right now. You just saw Jerry Jones say, hey, we're not that far away from being a Super Bowl contender. You cut Dez Bryant, and you move further away from that because all of a sudden your top receivers are Allen Hurns, Terrence Williams, and Cole Beasley. It's not setting up Dak Prescott for any type of success.
All right, hit us up in the reaction poll about the future of Dez Bryant. Should the Cowboys cut him? Give us a heart for yes, a like for no.
I hope no. I just have some concerns.
All right, let's get to rumor number 5 here. Aaron Donald, is he set to be the richest defender in the NFL, Tom?
Well, GM Les Snead kind of said, yeah, he was. He was on a podcast, and his exact quote was, he's aware that when you can partner, referring to Sue, and be beside someone who is on the verge of being the highest paid defensive player in football, talking about Aaron Donald.
3 heads.
But only 3 heads, and I think it does make some sense, and Donald, we know, wants to get paid in a big way. We throw up Von Miller at $19 per year. That's the highest paid based on average per year. Now, you can base it on total money over a longer contract or guaranteed money up front. Either way, it's still Von Miller. But I don't think he's quite locked in as that guy because, Cam, there is somebody else who is on the verge of getting a massive contract on the defensive side of the ball.
With that, let's get to Khalil Mack.
Look at
he
that
wants
segue.
$65 million in guaranteed money, Tom?
I think it's pretty likely. And look, Mack hasn't come out and said this, but it came from NFL.com. And I am curious, the report was only $65 million guaranteed. So does that refer to fully guaranteed at signing? If so, that's in the range of $70 million. Excuse me, fully guaranteed signing is only $60 million. But if you're looking more along the lines of practical guarantees, which includes like, this amount is due after year 1, and there's no way you're going to get cut after year 1, so it counts. Von Miller had that and got it to $70 million. So I would assume the 65 refers to guaranteed at signing, but if it's not, then maybe the Raiders save some big money. Like if you're Khalil Mack, you want to get paid as much as Von Miller. That is your starting point for any contract extension, unless you're willing to say, yeah, I'm going to take less money and do my team a favor.
All right, you see the Goodell heads there. They indicate the scale of believability here. So here's a look at the rumor meter. 0 Goodell heads, fake news. 1 Goodell head, small shred of truth. 2 Goodell heads, people are talking. 3 heads, more probable than not. And then 4 heads, it's fact news. Let's get to rumor number 7. Miami, are they after 3 defenders in the draft, Tom? They're selecting at number 11.
Yeah, 3 heads on this one, and there are some other names we'll mention. But the 3 main guys they're targeting, Roquan Smith, linebacker from Georgia. Tremaine Edmunds, linebacker from Virginia Tech. And Vita Vea, my boy, the defensive lineman from Washington. They view linebacker as a bigger need, which I also agree with there. But Vea is going to be a great pro, at least in their eyes, and I agree with that as well. Can help replace Sue up front. If it's not one of those 3 guys, some weird scenario where they're all gone, which I highly doubt, they would also consider Minkah Fitzpatrick, Denzel Ward, or Derwin James, if any of those guys fall. But my guess is there's a decent enough chance one of those 2 linebackers is on the board, and that's the route Miami goes at number 11 overall.
All right, let's get to the next rumor here. We got Lamar Jackson to the Saints. We're giving this 1 Goodell head here. I don't think he falls that far, Tom.
Exactly, and that's why it's only 1 head, because they did bring him in for a pre-draft visit on Tuesday, one of their official 30 prospects that they can bring in. But I just don't think he's going to fall to number 27 overall. If he did, it'd be a great fit. But in reality, I think Lamar Jackson's going to go off somewhere in the general 13 to 18 range, somewhere in there. Not going to necessarily include those teams, but maybe a team trades up, or maybe he goes off to the team like the Cardinals, or maybe the Chargers. Maybe I was too negative about the Chargers being an option earlier.
All right, speaking of Lamar Jackson here, how about to the Patriots? 1 Goodell head here. Reportedly, the Patriots are the team that's most interested in Lamar.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving it 1 head, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It came from Other teams said that the Patriots were the most interested, and I'm like, A, you can't make that claim unless you know all 32 teams, and B, most interested doesn't necessarily mean actually wanting. This is maybe showing the most interest. Think to the Bears last year. They hid their interest in Trubisky all the way through. So just because you're showing interest, it's not the be-all, end-all there. I think that they would like Lamar Jackson. He'd be a great fit in New England because I think Belichick would get the most out of him. But much like the Saints, they're going to have to move up to get him. I don't know if the Patriots are actually going to trade up this year to go get a quarterback. It's just going to be a little bit too pricey in my eyes.